All right, guys, welcome back. You're hearing me just fill in a few seconds of time here, though, as we skip into Ephemeron for the next match up. So, again, it's Cham versus Mana. We're getting into that game right now as we speak. And I'm still stretching, apparently. Just gotta get that, ooh, that little back crack in there, too. All right, we don't have such high stakes on the line for this one. Nobody's getting eliminated from the tournament yet, but we should note that this is going to send somebody out of the group. The player who wins this best of 3 will move directly into the round of 8 and receive top seeding from this group. So, to the top left, we do have the Team Liquid Protoss Mana. And to the bottom right, the red Zerg Cham. Now, I'd mentioned before many times, thanks to Mike Zackham, we've already managed to raise enough prize money to give the 8th through 5th players $50 each for playing in the tournament. However, as of today, we have some Match Reno codes available too to help pump up that prize pool. So, please, I'm begging you guys, type exclamation mark Match Reno in the chat, use the coupon code DFY Esports, and, it's the DFY Star League, not DFY Esports, and the people who are putting this on. The coupon code is DFY Star League, and if you use that, it will add $1 to the prize pool. Let's build this thing up. I mean, to be clear, they have really big aspirations, and they want to put tons of money into doing like a season 2, etc. So I really just, let's show them what we're made of, guys. Show them that we can come out for season 1. I mean, this is the introduction one. Also, as I do this, Match Reno's not loading for me. Son of a gun. Site down for anybody else. I'm just saying, all these technical problems could not come at just all together. Just one day, one cast. But that's okay, because if we get them out of the way now, then they won't be here for tomorrow. So, deep breaths. But there's also a giveaway going on as well from our wonderful sponsors over at the DFY Esports website. So, down below in the stream, there's a link you can click for the iPad giveaway, or you can just type exclamation mark giveaway in the chat. Don't listen to Stream Elements when it tells you there's no giveaway going on. It's a liar. But the link it gives you will be legitimate. See, look at that. It's a liar. I just gave my $1 up. Thank you very much, Captain Canada. Captain Canada. Great name. Now, Cham and Mana. This is actually a really tough call for me. Before I even get into the thick of it, I want to say I favor Cham right now. But I am basing that. I want to be very clear. I'm basing that off of Balance Wine. I think Zerg's bullshit, frankly. But I also think Mana's a really good player, so maybe he'll overcome my bias against him. But regardless of whatever the case may be, like I said, the winner of this moves on and gets out of the group. The loser faces 3DB for the very final best of 3 today. This group, very fast, kind of expected with all the mirror matchups, but that's okay. It is what it is. Maybe we'll get some really long stalemates out of this one. Go to a game 4 to best of 3. Ooh. It's everyone's nightmare, my dream. So much lag, by the way. Hopefully not today, but thank you for the 12-month resubs. It's a good day, sir. I know some of you guys have been asking about Partoofs as you hit that 1-year mark. I want to make it very clear that we can't really send them from Canada so easily anymore. This is thanks Canada Post. And with Zombie Grab no longer being really a part of the channel, she obviously has no obligation to do it from the States, which was what made it doable in the first place. So what I've been doing is I've been batching up the Partoofs and, collecting 12 or 14 names or whatever the case may be. And when I make trips to the States, like whether it's going to, well, I'm obviously not going to BlizzCon, but if I'm going to BlizzCon or if I'm going across the border to Seattle, or maybe I'm visiting my friend Kara in Los Angeles, when I go to the States, I can send out the Partoofs, and it's very easy and it's very cheap, but I can't do it really from Canada because it's dumb, and Canada's dumb, and I hate Canada right now. So those who start hitting that 12-month mark, my best suggestion would be just keep up to date with what I'm doing. And, if you know that I'm going on a trip, there's a convention coming up like a WCS or something, I'll obviously be posting about it in Discord, because I know some people missed out on the last one. The last trip we did was when I went to Vegas for my birthday this summer. I don't know when the next trip to the United States is yet, so that's what I'm saying. Just keep an eye on things. We'll get you guys those Partoofs. And for those who don't know what I'm mumbling about right now, we have a real-life commemorative coin that we give people when they've hit the 12-month mark on the channel. Just like it's a really nice thing. It's just kind of like, hey, this was I was part of this. I subbed to the channel, supported it for 12 months. At any rate, looks like you guys have killed a rally boss while I was tabbed out, so I didn't get any of the copper. Son of a gun. But congratulations on killing another boss, guys. Yeah, Mr. Hag, it's dumb. There's so much dumb with it. There's just a lot of dumb in general, but that's not an incorrect statement. They also live on the East Coast, which has very different... This is where it gets really dumb. Really different rules about mail, which... Why? It's Canada. It's one country. Why would we have different rules for the East Coast versus West Coast? Well, that's because the way the post office strikes every 3 days. Anyways, I'm just gonna get frustrated the more we talk about this. So rather than get stuck in a negative feedback loop, let's talk about these lings that Cham has roaming around outside Mana's bases. Sadly, right now, there's not a lot of opportunity for them to get in anywhere. And in fact, for Mana, this is a really nice little sandwich he set up here on the third base. Those two adepts could have killed all those lings well before that Nexus was in any real danger. But two very different tech paths being selected out of these players. So Cham's gone for a Spire. This will actually work really well against what Mana's doing. Mana, on the other hand, has gone for the Robo Bay. Now, I'm not sure what his plan with the Robo Bay is. Obviously, by default, we would say Colossus, but if he does go Colossus, then the Spire's already up, and he can go Corruptors, and there's kind of an easy solution to it. Fourth base also on the way for Cham while this goes on. I mean, so far this game's been minor harassment. There's literally... It's been minor harassment. Sorry. I don't often do unintended puns, but... Anyways, it's been pretty minor harassment. Not a lot's been going on. Income-wise, you're seeing steep drops right now, just because Cham's bursting out with workers, but Mana will catch up once the space is properly saturated. And you're not going to see, I think, huge leads between these two until we start seeing some real big deaths and explosions. In fact, you can already see it's already back on the way up to getting caught up. I mean, he's baiting out the energy for the oracles, so this is not totally worthless play. You know, every time they turn that pulsar beam on, it takes energy to attack, but it also just takes 25 energy to turn it on in the first place. But I guess all this distraction has kind of worked out well. The observer in the main base, it did see the Spire long ago, so he knows that something is coming out of this, just not sure whether it's Corruptors or Mutas. We know it's Mutas. Corruptors actually have a really interesting role where they are so good at sniping Nexus. He's not playing, and goddamn, I wish he was playing this tournament, but Namshar is one of my favorites for that. Namshar does some really gross thing with Corruptor play for base sniping, and I wish more Zergs would. Small push poking up here. If the gates are opened up and the roaches will open the gate, this could actually get in here and be a nuisance. Pylon gets destroyed immediately. But the whole point of this is just to distract, really. I don't think Cham had any intention of these units living, so it's just trade out while the Mutas go in and do the real damage. But Mana, quick to respond, does pull these Phoenix in a good spot with a shield battery, pushes off the Mutas. There's not a lot of units in StarCraft 2 that are just super hard cold counters, but Mana has the best way to deal with Mutas by having Phoenix in play. And in fact, he's already investing into Fleet Beacon. And with this, he'll get Anion Pulse Crystals, which will give Phoenix 2 more range. So they already naturally outrange Mutalisks. They will just outrange them even further and harder. So as the game progresses, that's only if he needs to go that direction. He may just sense that that's it for the Mutas and be done with it. But the point is, he's had a great response to Cham's opening so far. In fact, he's feeling so comfortable that he's expanding to one of these more further out bases, which are exposed, to say the least. Commander Fox 999, thank you for the 3 months. He says, "What if Canada became America?" Stop. Do you see how many problems America has right now? You know, there's a rule. I want to make very clear before I say what I'm about to say. There's a rule that you're not allowed to discuss politics in chat, right? But guess what? I'm on the microphone, not in chat, so get fucked, nerds. How the fuck has Trump not been impeached yet? Do you guys remember when Bill Clinton got in trouble for lying about a blowjob? That was like nothing! What's going on, America? I don't understand! Sorry, anyways. Anyways. We got Mothership coming out for Mana. Not actually something you see too often. Really not a great unit in general because of how easily it's countered it feels most of the time, but in this particular case, this is going to be really nice because this is going to provide a lot of cloaking for the Lurkers. And those Lurkers are going to be really far set back, so it's not going to be easy to take a fight with that Mothership here. As the Nexus starts getting chewed away at, the air reinforcements do finally make a way back over. He might be able to save this if he lifts up those lurkers, but if he does, he'll lose the Phoenix and then won't be able to fight the mutas as easily. So this is probably just a dead base. I don't think he'll abandon this, though. I think with the infrastructure and just the position of this base, it's a good base to take, but the timing of his units being here and prepared, just a little not quite where they needed to be. Phoenix just come back now to deal with those mutas. Now, he didn't go for any Impulse Crystals this game. The investment was the Fleet Beacon for things like a Mothership and now a Carrier, but I would have loved to see more Phoenix play. Oh, I love this out of Mana. This is a huge thing. What he just did there was he lifted up and immediately dropped the Lurkers, and that was not a mistake. Lurkers will not automatically reburrow, so as you saw for a lot of this fight, Cham just had like 3 or 4 Lurkers standing on the ground doing nothing while Mana destroyed the rest of the army. So he crowd controlled 3 or 4 Lurkers out of the ground, left them unburrowed, then had hard crowd control on like the remaining 4. Mana handled this fight so well. If he lost this fight, I really would have started bitching about Zerg, because this was one of those few times where you watch a Protoss player win, and there's no bullshit. That was well played. And of course, now we have shield batteries powering back up. We're going to have that Nexus coming back down, sure, after this one maybe. But either way, good defensive fight. Cham had to give away a lot for that. In fact, you look at the resources lost. Oh, he's going to catch some of these lurkers. That's really nice. You look at some of the resources lost, you look at the way the army trades have been, and Cham had past tense a really good army, because that wasn't like roaches and swarm hosts, that was lurkers and corruptors. Unfortunately, he's been cut down to size by quite a bit, and what's going to be good for him is he does have that instant burrow with adaptive talents coming out, so lurkers are going to be able to position themselves a lot better. Also, if they get grabbed out of the ground like that, they should be able to reburrow a lot more easily. So there's going to be better tools at Cham's disposal for this next fight, but it is a smaller army, just to be clear. And while there's not a lot of Colossus in play, that one's going to be enough to help fry up these Hydras. In fact, the best thing that he could do here maybe is just snipe off the Overseer. There's only one Overseer. You can't see anything. Revelation cast was great too, so you can see all the things on the ground. The Mothership is getting targeted down by the Corruptors. It's probably going to die. Like I said, Mothership's just kind of dealt with fairly easily, but this was at the cost of the entire army of Cham, and all Cham really did with this was break the front door, right? He killed a Mothership and a couple of buildings. Look at those resources lost. So not worth it for him, in my opinion. Well, as these continue to move around, they might be able to swing back for a caustic spray snipe later. This lurker managed to reposition itself. I don't think there's any observers because... Oh, there's one, excuse me. Because he was relying on Revelation for that fight. So there's actually just not a lot in the field in general. 2. There's one over here and one at home. Detection could possibly become a problem for Mana as the game goes on, but we'll have to wait and see. Cham flying over the Archons is a really bold and dangerous move, but this is going to pay off. Maybe? Hold on. Almost all those Corruptors died to one more Archon blast. Okay, that went from like good to bad to good. So he clears out the sky, which is great, but now he's left with a bunch of Corruptors that are not ready to become Broodlords. So he doesn't really have an army to fight with still. And while Cham definitely cuts Mana down to size, he's not exactly in a great spot off the end of this. In fact, both players are pretty much base for base and they're around the same location, so nobody's really leading the income that hardcore. I guess I take that back. Cham's actually been killing it because of his worker count, but I mean, Mana's just been defending and getting these bases up. Now that they are up and running, and he'll start transferring probes over from the main, we're going to see his economy catch up, no problem. Should catch up, no problem. So I heard, I read a really dumb joke on Reddit last night I want to share with you guys. And I'm feeling comfortable sharing this semi-offensive joke on stream because the people who would be offended by it won't be able to hear it. My girlfriend was talking a lot during her sleep. Or excuse me, my deaf girlfriend was talking a lot during her sleep. Damn near poked my eyes out. It's just so dumb. It's not even like hateful. It's just dumb. And I love it. And as unfortunately the Archons are taking a fight against the Lurkers, so they weren't here to guard against the Corruptors. And the thing is, these Archons are supposed to be what zones those Corruptors out. The Corruptors are supposed to be way too afraid to fly in because when they stack up, they take the shot and they lose everything. But Cham actually danced around that pretty well. I think Mana just had a bit of a bad priority targeting system there. So his Archons were not part of the fight the way they needed to be, and because of this, Mana loses out on so much of his air again. But, you know, the War Prism may have been killed. This harassment drew the remaining forces back home, so Cham's not continuing to pressure the base, and it gives Mana a little bit of breathing room to take that base again. Resources lost still piling up for Cham, though. Time goes on, and that number grows, and that's not supposed to. The Mozart of jokes. Did you mean the Beethoven? Wait, which of them was down? I was watching that Between Two Ferns movie too. They got some really good dumb jokes in that one too. Oh, this is gonna suck. Big storms, big shots, and he's just sitting in a Cham. Oh, I don't know what just happened there. All those Hydras got cooked with the full damage of the storm, leaving him pretty weak. The Lurker's taking care of the ground. Stalker's walking back. I mean, a few more Stalkers are all it's going to take, though, to take care of the rest of what's remaining, both Lurkers and Corruptors. I just had a little bit of time to regenerate, too. This actually is going to be a losing game for Mana by the looks of it, but that fight, I don't know, man. That looked, with all those storms, that looked better than it ended up going. And Cham, of course, mostly has this army supply in Remax, not here immediately on the front lines. But as you can see, there's like 27 Hydras in that production tab. That's not easy to do. Yeah, Mana breaks that first attack, but he's left with 36 supply. And this supply isn't made up of Archons and Storms. And hell, it's not even Zealots. So these Hydras are going to be really good for the follow-up fight, because Stalkers are just not... They're going to be outnumbered here so badly. I think that's where Zerg gets a little ridiculous in my books. Production, just like you're just immediately ready to go with another army because you have all the larvae and the bank set up for it. And I don't have a problem with that. It just, the other races can never seem to match that. And that's where I think this gets just straight up overwhelming. And that's exactly what you're seeing here. Mana is being overrun. He's got this base mining, sure, but I mean, this base is pretty much out. The geysers are starting to expire too. There's not a lot of gas left. 2 robos of production means nothing compared to, 40 larvae, but whatever. Balance wine. Regelta is, thank you for the 63 months. Is happy Friday. Is today Friday? Oh my god, it is. Thank you. Thank you very much. Happy Friday, everybody. GG. Cham takes game 1. But we finally got a long game out of the day, which was nice. It was like a close to 20-minute game. And with that, the second map is on Thunderbird again. I think Thunderbird might be like the most picked map of our tournament. But here's the thing, guys. I've asked many times to every broadcast, please consider subscribing to the channel. And I'm going to tell you the reason why you should do that is so that you don't get commercials while you're here. No ads whatsoever. I'm about to play some ads that will cut into probably the first 30 seconds of gameplay. And if you're subscribed to the channel, you don't have to deal with it. And I know, oh, either I don't get commercials or thank God for you, Block. Like, whatever, guys, I get it. Not everyone has commercials, but I got to get paid somehow. So please, if you can, at least consider disabling your ad block. I would really appreciate it. Otherwise, if you're sub, just enjoy it. Sit back, relax. And we're getting into Thunderbird here. The players are all ready up. Just jump in the game. Get a haircut, hippie. I know. I actually need a haircut so bad. I hate having long hair. I have just had no free time. I have to still go return my previous modem, which is, I don't know how I'm going to do that. That's a whole thing. Leaving the house sucks. Oh, yo. So, as many of you guys know, I lost my credit cards and my wallet and my ID and everything. And I finally got my credit cards back and my debit card, right? And to use your credit cards, you have to activate them. Sure, but to use a debit card, you don't have to call in to activate it. You just have to use it. Using my debit card, my brand new, fresh out of the envelope debit card, got it blocked. So I can't go to the bank because my debit card is locked and they won't accept it. So I have to go sit on a 40-minute phone call later today, wait through the annoying wait music, and order another new debit card, even though this one was the new debit card. and then I can't go get my new ID because I need to be able to pay for that, and I need my bank, and that's so. I got a lot of stuff I need to do after the stream is done today. Starting here in game number 2, still the winner's match, down 1 at the moment. It's the Blue Protoss Team Liquid's Mana. But hey, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub, George God Hodge. Hopefully I'm saying that name somewhat close to close. To the top left, it is, of course, the guy winning so far, Cham. Can you not use your passport for ID? I can. That's not the problem. Like, if I go to the bank, I can show them my passport, and they're like, okay, yeah, we can verify your information, but I still don't have a debit card. So, like, I can't go to the checkout of, like, a 7-Eleven, buy a Slurpee for, like, $2, and be like, yo, here's my passport. Can you just trust I'll come back in a week? Like, no, I need a debit card. I guess I could technically use a credit card for that, but I don't use a credit card for, like, $1 charge. Much less the $2 something bus fee, and it's just, That was a horrible pronunciation, exactly as expected. Great. I'm glad I could be your clown show for today. Get cash from the bank. Okay, here's where I have a real problem with this, for like very actually. I've grown up with debit cards and credit cards. I'm not someone who's actually really comfortable having cash on me. I've been mugged twice in my life, and both times, like, I'm like, maybe if I didn't have cash, this wouldn't happen. Like, I don't like having cash on me. So going to the bank and getting cash, I'd rather wait the week for my new debit card. Not used to having cash, clearly not doing enough drugs. I know. God forbid I make legal transactions for legal things. I'm such a fool. Once I stopped working the service industry, I never had cash. Yeah, so I was a banquet server. I had tons of cash as a kid, even going through high school and stuff. But that was like really the last time. Because after that was like I did environmental work. I worked at a factory. Like, none of that was stuff where you got tipped or anything. So I didn't have like any cash lying around. Oh, don't start me up on cryptocurrency, guys. I can't. Livy B's so obsessed with it, and we've had so many conversations about it. I really don't like cryptocurrency. I'm all for stocks. I have some stocks and stuff, right? But I think cryptocurrency is frankly dumb. And I know that I'm wrong because it's very clearly a market that exists and people buy into it. I'm never going to touch cryptocurrency with like a 10-foot pole. I have like a tenth of a Bitcoin just because I bought it to see if it'll ever turn into anything, but that's it. I'm not planning to like do anything with it. I hope to be one of those people who forgets about it and in 10 years finds out he's accidentally a millionaire, you know? This attack out of Mana, by the way, hitting a little bit weak, but he does get the Adepts out alive, which is nice. Still might lose him to the Lings chasing it down, but he gets an Overlord for his troubles, and that doesn't hard supply block Cham, but it's a brief moment as we have more Lings coming across the field too. This wall setup was really nice. He's got to hope to God there's no drones pulled to do this back mineral door shit, because if those mineral patches were mined out, Mana's straight up dead. It's game over. But as it stands, he has a chance to hold this wall. He's building more layers to it as well, even though he's not Zerg. But as more layers to the wall come in, he should be able to keep this from being game over. He's going to take some damage. There's no question about that. In fact, he might even have to start rebuilding a new cyber core like right now. Yeah, immediately. But thanks to his walling and his quick reaction, this doesn't end up being the end of the game, and Cham doesn't break that wall. But God, man, if he had broken that on his back, if he had just pulled 2 drones with that fight, I really think Cham could have won the game right there. This was totally on Cham, focusing on like, the matchup and not the map. Regardless, we have Nidus Network on the way. So that's one other way to get around it. There doesn't appear to be a lot of scouting in the main base, so this Nidus Storm might even go undetected. Ooh, we'll see. Where do you live that you've been mugged twice? No, I've only been mugged once in my quote-unquote home city. The other time was while I was in the States. I mean, it's nothing major. It's not like I was hurt. You didn't see me post pictures of me going to the hospital for it on Twitter or anything. It just happens. You're gonna get... Someone's gonna steal something from you at some point in your life, you know? As Night Storm did go uncontested as expected. The Lings outside the main base are also waiting because as the units respond to the Lings that run through the back of the base, they're going to leave their post at the front door, and that's what Cham's really waiting on. But he might also just dive back into the Night Storm and fully unload. He's completely taking control of the main base. The Nexus is going to go down for sure. But Mana didn't have a lot of investment in the main. Most of his structural stuff is out here. So this sucks. This hurts. But he still has the means to fight, if that makes sense. Even though he's losing probes, he's got more. Force fields on the ramp go down. Holds this wave of the Lings. Second wave of the Lings might be a little too much, though. Coming from literally three different angles of an attack here. Very difficult to hold this off. But Mana is somehow holding on. Other side of the field, there's a little bit of payback through these Phoenix. Nothing really crazy. It's mostly the Queens. And then, they don't have the energy to kill that many drones. Mana, if he had 3 bases, this would be a different story, but he's been beaten back down to 1 officially. And Cham, granted not mining off of all of them, is on 3 bases. And at some point, he can bring those Queens back home to defend if he wants to, but he goes for the full surround of this army. Recalls out, but he doesn't have enough to recall out. He's going to escape with like 2 sentries and an Immortal. No, look, it's mostly just Lings, and that shouldn't normally be that big of a deal, but the production structures are getting compromised, so Mana's not going to have the means to build more Immortals. He's not going to have the means to warp in more units as he loses these gateways, too. There's going to be no Adepts or anything. There's going to be Zealots. As bare bones as the tech can be, he's putting down more shield batteries before he loses that Cyber Core. I think he knows he's going to lose it, but I think this game is also done for. You know what? There is some counterattack still going on, so maybe not quite just yet, but... Oh, he doesn't kill the Queen with that first run by. Ooh. The wall's not fully broken. Mana's holding on for a little bit longer, but still, at the end of the day, it is technically 1 bases to 3. Mana's got 39 probes, but they're all mining off of 1 base, so this is really inefficient for him. So he's got no money advantage through that. So it comes down to army type. And I guess as the Lings get pushed back, this holds, but man, all this creep here, the threat of constant Night Storms following this up too. There's even Spore Crawlers in the main base. That's where Twitch ads are getting longer. Dude, I wish that we could disable the pre-roll ads. I think those are really frustrating. I think if I were to go over our statistics, I think when they started forcing the pre-rolls, shoving them down everyone's throat, I think that's directly when we started seeing our viewership go to like almost half. And the thing too that I can tell you guys about, like I can't tell you contract information or anything, right? But I can tell you from the side of a partner, Twitch wants to regularly push us to play more ads. I was like, I don't want to play more ads. I don't want to play any ads. Like, it's just such a bad system. All right, now this little choke here is hilarious. This is working. Mana's, look at this. Mana is really in a 300 position right now. Like, these are the hot gates. This is where he has to hold out. He doesn't have a lot to hold out with, but what he does so far has been holding. He marches across the map with a small band of sentries and zealots, and frankly, Cham can probably just bring everything home and hold this. The Queens alone might even be enough. In fact, I'm almost confident that the Queens alone might have been enough, but he's got Spine Crawlers finishing up. Here we go with those Graviton Beams. He's going to lift up those Queens, so maybe they won't be enough alone. But the Spine Crawlers are, of course, reaching over the force fields, picking off the sentries. Lynx come for the backside. I think this is it for Mana, guys. Like, the Queens are not even part of the fight, but they don't need to be, as you can see here. The Spine Crawlers, the Lings, they crush it. They hold it, they defend it. Don't you make money from ads? Not a lot of money. Like, here's the thing. To be real, and this is me speaking of experience of someone who's had up to 25,000 people on stream before, right? Versus average viewerships of like 1,000. You really don't make much money from ads unless you start getting the big numbers. I can't tell you guys exact numbers or anything like that, but I can tell you that if you were to play 2 sets of ads to 1,000 viewers, it is not the same as playing 1 set of ads to 2,000 viewers. Like, the scaling on viewership for it is insane. But the thing I don't like about ads is it's just invasive. And I really wish that, you know, we ran a system where you guys subbed and I didn't have to play ads at all or something, but then that's not how it works. So even though it's not much money, it's still money, right? Like, at the end of the day, no pity party. I'm not trying to bait anyone into doing anything with this statement, but just to give you an example, the last broadcast we did, it was like a 3.5-hour show, 0 donations, and like a couple of subs. Like, days like that really suck. So you have to hope that the $5 or whatever you make from playing ads buys you lunch that day. You know what I mean? The problem with everything, too, not even just Twitch, YouTube, you name it, online, it's all so unpredictable. Sometimes you'll have an amazing day, and sometimes you'll have the worst day. Sometimes you have an amazing month, and sometimes you'll have a garbage month. This, for us, has been a garbage month. It is what it is. We'll get through it, but... just giving you guys honest answers for the questions, I guess. I'll push it up here. These queens are getting quite a bit of damage done. God, what's the queen count at right now? He's on 10 queens. I mean, they're great because they don't take bonus damage from the immortals. They can transfuse other units. Queen's actually a really great unit to have for this, and I think it's smart for Cham to have invested in them, but he does need other tech. Like, as you can see, he's not breaking mana yet. I mean, mana, I think he's playing a game of attrition. At some point, he runs out of money before Cham runs out of money. That's the problem in this game. But Cham's also advancing towards things like Hydras now, which I think are going to really start sealing the deal for him. Because up to this point, Queens and Lings, brute force, they've gotten this much done, but they can't seem to get that killing blow. They can't quite crack this nut. Not yet, at least. By the way, thank you, Denike17. Oh man, I don't know how to say your name, but thank you for the Twitch Prime. Great content. Keep up the strong work. Well, today's been a bit of a weird day, but thank you. And Vox 3, thank you for the brand new sub too. Glad to have you on board. As mentioned earlier, we do offer ad-free viewing for our subs. So if you do subscribe to the channel, you will have to give a quick refresh, or Twitch won't recognize you as a sub, and you'll see ads when we play ads. So yeah, make sure you guys hit that refresh real quick too. I think the thing too, with just to continue sharing my thoughts here on ads for a moment, I think what's really key is if you control your ads, your audience, I think, will be more respectful of you playing them, if that makes sense. Like, I don't play ads every 8 minutes on cooldown like some streamers do, right? I wait 20, 40, sometimes an hour, and I only play them when we have like appropriate downtime, right? That's the goal for me, at least. What I hate, though, is by having I don't want pre-roll ads. I can't control those. But by blasting everybody who joins the stream with a pre-roll ad, it sets the level of trust not at 0, but like -1. And that's what I hate about it. Now, look, I really admire everything Mana's doing. And if we're going to real talk for a second, he has been clawing his way back into the game. I counted him down and out a long time ago. I still think Cham gets this at the end of the day, and that entirely falls back to the money thing. Like, Mana just literally won't be able to reproduce units he loses. Cham will. But hell of a fight out of Mana. Great defense, crazy defense. But I mean, his attack here, as you can see here, is not quite good enough. He can't even keep this up with the Warp Prism for too long. That's it. That's GG. Another 2-0 in what is possibly the fastest group of all the groups.